broadcast. This month's broadcast is covering a community topic. So even months are community topics and odd months are clinical topics. And my name is Tina Cardarelli, and I'm the Indiana State Breastfeeding Coordinator and also the Director of Breastfeeding Services for the Indiana Breastfeeding Coalition. These calls are brought to you by a partnership of Indiana Perinatal Network and Indiana Breastfeeding Coalition, and they're sponsored in part by the Indiana WIC program. We're really happy to have that sponsorship, and that sponsorship will continue on the community calls in 2016. So we thank you for your support. I'd like to introduce the topic this month and the speakers. We're really excited. We like to have a mix of speakers inside the state and outside the state, and we're really privileged to have speakers from the United States Breastfeeding Coalition. It's a goal of mine and the work that I do to make a stronger connection between our community coalitions and between what I like to call our mothership of coalitions, the United States Breastfeeding Coalition. So I like to look at it as like they're at the top of the kind of the picture, and then we have all of our state coalitions, and then under that we have all of our community coalitions. And so I think that the stronger we can be connected to USBC, the better we can tap into all the resources that are available, and that's what our speakers are going to talk about today. So we're really happy to have two speakers, Danae Hartfield, who's the Coalition Relations Coordinator for the USBC, and Kenny Banerjee, who is the Senior Coalition Relations Manager. And I just have the highest regard for the work that both of these people do. They're just beautiful inside and out, as you can see from the picture, particularly out. But I want to tell you a little bit about Danae, who will be our first speaker. She graduated from the University of South Florida in 2010 with a bachelor's in biomedical science and a minor in public health. During her graduate education at Mercer University, she found her passion for women's health while working in an OBGYN clinic. As a community health intern for the Central Georgia affiliate of the Susan G. Komen for the Cure, she became an active advocate of breast cancer prevention in African American women. Her capstone project assessed the correlation between socioeconomic factors and access to mammogram services amongst African American women in Middle Georgia. Danae receives her master's in public health in 2012 and relocated to live in the San Francisco Bay Area. Lucky you, it's such a beautiful part of the country. And our second speaker today will be Kenny, and she comes to us. She came to the USBC with over 20 years of experience working closely with social service agencies, public health organizations, policy advocates, and academic partners to build and sustain strong multi-objective initiatives impacting public health outcomes. She began her career in clinical practice as a dietitian specializing in pediatric nutrition. Kenny partners with breastfeeding coalitions across the country to strengthen their capacity to improve the landscape of breastfeeding support. And I can tell you that in the work that I do supporting coalitions, that she has just been a valuable partner and resource. So I know firsthand the work that she does. She works with coalition leaders to strengthen their governance and leadership capacity and increase organizational transparency and accountability. A core component of her work is helping move USBC's equity mission forward. She says the best part of her work is fostering transformational partnerships to build strategic visions to advance community health and resiliency. And it's my pleasure to have both of our speakers today from the USBC, and I'm going to hand it over to you, Danae.
Thank you, Tina, for that wonderful introduction, and thank you all so much for inviting me to present on this webinar today. I had the pleasure of working on USBC's new website with our Executive Director, Megan Renner, and my colleague, Sarah Walls, and I am just very, very excited at the opportunity to walk you all through its features. So as you may know, USBC was created as an organization of organizations in the mid-90s as a response to the Innocenzi Declaration. And our 50-plus members include federal government agencies, health professional associations, and other nonprofits whose work touches on breastfeeding policy and practice change. Since convening the first National Breastfeeding Coalitions Conference in 2006, the USBC has supported a network of breastfeeding coalitions, and we're currently working on expanding that network to local and community and cultural coalitions. In 2011, Surgeon General Regina Benjamin released the call to action to support breastfeeding, and it rallied everyone to help make breastfeeding easier. The call to action focused on 6 key areas of action and galvanized the momentum for state-level breastfeeding coalitions. The call to action's focus on developing and strengthening state coalitions recognizes that it is at the state and local levels that initiatives will be implemented and adapted most effectively to address specific populations. So what we do at our core is provide backbone supports to the field. And you can see a number of them here: policy agenda, convening support, communications, and coalition capacity building. So going a little deeper on our focus on coalition capacity building, one of the first things we did with our enhanced funding was conduct an extensive needs assessment, including looking at the existing structural models and current activities of state coalitions, and impact along the sectors identified in the Surgeon General's call to action. What we found from this needs assessment is that coalitions have many, many needs, from fundraising to communication to evaluation and beyond. Findings from the needs assessment are guiding USBC's coalition capacity building support. Currently, we have the National Breastfeeding Coalitions Conference, which occurs every other August, and our next one will be in August of 2016. We currently have 4 webinar series. The 222 and the Power Tool series are specifically for coalitions, and the final 2, Collective Impact and Racial Equity, are 2 new series that we began this fall. You can find the registration links on each of these corresponding web pages within the site. We also offer networking resources and one-on-one technical assistance. So today, I'm going to focus on the networking resources offered through USBC's new website, and I'll discuss how to create your individual profile, how to access and interact within your state's membership community, as well as the Coalition's Learning Connection and the topical learning communities within the site. So I thought it would be a great idea to start with a little refresher of the website's key terms. So as you can see here, the first 2 columns refer to profiles. And we've used the metaphor of a display window where you can go and look at information either about the individual, which you can see in the first column, or the group here in the second column. The third column focuses on the community, and we refer to any community as a workspace where you can go and interact with other members who belong to that specific community. Each community does have designated community administrators who manage the workspace. So the website profiles. The individual profile is really your entree into the site. You must have one to interact with all of the community content, and there aren't any restrictions on getting an individual profile. So that means that anyone in the universe can log on to usbreastfeeding.org and create one. The most basic file is an email address and your first and last name. Now, although that's all you need to create this profile, we do encourage you to upload a profile picture. It's always lovely to see the face of the person you're interacting with. You'll also have the option to subscribe to a variety of forums within the site, and through your profile, you can manage how you choose to receive those subscription deliveries. Now, every state coalition and member organization of USBC has a group profile. It was created in the pre-launch stage, and this profile displays key information about these organizations. So it displays the contact information. We also collect membership demographics. It also displays the engagement levels in over 20 different topic areas, as well as activity descriptions of the coalition or organization. Any organization can request a group profile by filling out the request form housed on the site. So that means that any local and tribal coalition can have their activities featured in the Surgeon General's Call to Action directory, which I'll showcase later. So each state coalition also has their own private online community. And again, we use the term community interchangeably with workspace. So within this space, you'll have virtual tools such as a blog, a listserv and discussion forums, as well as file libraries, and a community calendar to keep track of coalition events. Local and tribal coalitions can also contact their state coalition to request forums and file libraries within that community space. So again, that space is really meant for internal collaboration, for communication between members, for file archiving and sharing. And again, you'll need to have that individual profile before you can interact within the space. So what I'd like to do next is go into the site and show you how to create this individual profile, as well as how to find a group profile or your community. So we go here. If you were to log on to usbreastfeeding.org, you'll land on our public homepage. And this is where you can download our strategic framework. You can also learn about our member organizations, and you can also connect with us through our social media channels here. If you'd like to log in or request a login, you just simply scroll to the top of the page in the right corner and select login or request login. So this is the request login page. And to create an individual profile, again, all you'll need is a valid email address and your first and last name. If you're requesting a group profile, you can simply follow the link here. That will take you to the online form. And I'll show you what that looks like. So this is the request for a website profile. And all you'll need to do here is provide your organization's name with the organization's email, as well as a contact name and email. You'll then want to let us know what your organization's reach is, if it's national, state, or local. Once that request is approved, the group administrator for your organization will be able to update the organization's info. Now, once you have a login, you will see this page, and this is the internal homepage. And you can see here we've provided some quick links to some directories, and you'll also be able to see any upcoming events that USBC has on their calendar, as well as any communities that you belong to. From here, if you'd like to navigate to your profile, you would simply come up to My Options and select My Profile. And I'll just show you what a profile looks like. This is where you'll edit all of your contact information, where you'll be able to enter any breastfeeding expertise you have, as well as your Breastfeeding Coalition affiliation. You can also update your picture using the right toolbar here by selecting My Picture. You can also edit your or manage your subscriptions by using the My Subscriptions button. And I'll just show you what that looks like so you can see what kind of options you have. So these are all of the forums I'm subscribed to within the site. And if I just hit this edit button, it'll let me choose how I can receive that, that digest. So I could receive it as an immediate email, as a digest with links, as a full digest with attachments. We have a number of options here. So what that means is you don't have to actually be in the site to receive these items. You can be sitting at home and on another web page and just receive it in email with any of these forums. So if you go to my page here, this is the page that everyone will see if someone was to look you up, if they're trying to find your contact information. This is the page that they would see. And this will allow you to edit the visibility of the information that you provide. So you can see here that an asterisk beside any of this information is hidden, and that's because I've selected that option by going to these three dots here and selecting Edit Visibility Settings. Okay, so from here, if you wanted to do a group search, if you wanted to look for your group, we do provide a search bar here at the top. And what you'll want to do is select the type of search you're doing. So it either be a user or a group. If you don't select the type of search you'd like, it will search the entire site. So just remember to select the type of search you're doing. So if you're looking for your group, your organization, let's say we're looking for Indiana, you'd simply just type Indiana in here. And now we can see either the community or the group page. So I will just select the group page. And this is Indiana Breastfeeding Coalition's group profile. So again, this is where your coalition's contact info will be and any activity descriptions that have been entered within the profile. And these activity descriptions for each action will be populated on public pages along with other national, state, and local or community organizations. Okay, now I'd like to jump back into the presentation and move forward with some other key website features. So in addition to the individual profile, the group profile, and the community workspace, the website's key features include the Surgeon General's Call to Action directory, the learning communities, and the Coalition's Learning Connection. So the Surgeon General's Call to Action directory is one of my favorite features of this site, as it really facilitates collaborative work. And this directory showcases organizations' activities on a special page for each of the Surgeon General's 20 actions. All site visitors are invited to explore the action directory pages of greatest interest. It's available to find information and resources and connect to other organizations working in a particular action area. The learning community, so our website houses over 20 online learning communities on breastfeeding related topic areas from the Surgeon General's Call to Action and beyond. Site users are invited to explore all of the learning communities and join those of greatest interest to them. Within the workspace, members are able to share information and resources and surface opportunities for collaborative action. It's important to note that you must have an individual login before you can interact within these communities as well. So the last feature I wanted to talk about is the Coalition's Learning Connection. And we invite all active members of Breastfeeding Coalitions to join this community. And it's there for you to network and share information and resources with other coalition leaders and members. So what I'd like to do now is go back into the site and show you all three of these spaces I just mentioned. So from here, to navigate to the Surgeon General's Call to Action directory, you'd simply just hover over the News and Info, and you'd select the Surgeon General's Call to Action directory. So at the top of the page, you'll see that there's an explanation of what the Surgeon General's Call to Action is and how to use the directory. You'll also see that organizations can request a group profile from this page as well. Below, we have the table of contents for these action pages. And again, each of these corresponds to an action in the Surgeon General's Call to Action. So I'd like to show you what an action page looks like. And I'll show you action 16, which is child care. So each page will state the action and its implementation strategies, followed by USBC's resources, any national activities, as well as any state and community activities. So we can see here that Florida, Kansas, Minnesota, and Wisconsin are all doing work under this action. Within the activity descriptions, you can provide a supporting link. And so this will help bring more traffic to your website as well. It also makes you visible to any national organizations, and it makes national organizations visible to you. So if you're looking to start any activities under a specific action, this is a really great way to see what other coalitions are doing and even contact them so that you can you don't have to reinvent the wheel. The next thing I want to show you is how to navigate to the learning communities. So if we scroll back up to the top and go to News and Info and select Learning Communities, we will get to the Learning Communities landing page. So again, we have over 20 learning communities within the site. Most do correspond to an action in the Surgeon General's Call to Action, but we do have others outside of that, such as the Collective Impact community and the Racial Equity community. At the top of the page, again, we just have a suggestion of how to use this community, these communities, along with our social media and online community guidelines. That follows the table of contents. So I'd like to show you what the paid leave learning community looks like so that you can see what the space looks like. And again, you can join these based on your level of interest. So each community will have a welcome message, and if it corresponds to an action, it'll show what the action is along with its implementation strategies. On the right toolbar, you can select to join. You can opt to join the community. You can also opt to subscribe to any of the forums within this space. You're also welcome to post to any of the discussion forums or share files within the libraries. So you can see here we have a networking forum, a news items forum, an action opportunities forum, collaborative ideas forum, and then we do have one sharing file library within this space. So USBC does carry out a weekly process to triage any news and action items we come across that may be relevant to each of these communities. So it's a great way to stay up to date on a particular topic that you show specific interest in. If you're looking for something specific within a community, you can use the search bar here, and it will only search content that is within the community. So, for example, if you were searching a very broad term like paid leave, instead of bringing up results from the entire site, only community content would come up. So any forums, any questions that have been asked, any files that have been posted with those keywords would come up within the community. So the last one I wanted to show you is the Coalition's Learning Connection. To find the Coalition's Learning Connection, you'll simply hover over the Coalitions tab, and this is really your go-to place for all things Coalitions, including the Coalition's Learning Connection. So you can access the public webinar pages, so our power tools, our 222, collective impact, and racial equity can be navigated to from here. You can also look at the Breastfeeding Coalition directory, as well as the National Conference webpage. So within the Coalition's Learning Connection, we have several forums within this space. We have three different ones. We have the announcement forum, the discussion forum, and our news and action items for coalitions. So you can see at the top of this space, before I get into the forums, that we have postings of our special webinars. Back in September, we did a constellations update for coalitions, and if you missed the webinar, you can download the slides or watch the video recording here. And we also have the links to our regular webinar series where you can register for the 222 or the Power Tools for Coalitions webinar. So the announcement forum, by joining the community, you're automatically subscribed to receive key updates and announcements for coalitions from USBC headquarters. We only post critical announcements by USBC staff to this announcement forum, so you don't have to worry about being spam. The second forum is the Breastfeeding Discuss forum. And the purpose is really to facilitate networking and sharing among state and territorial, tribal, local, community, and cultural breastfeeding coalitions. You can post any questions or share resources with your fellow coalitions, and you can simply address an email to coalitions-discuss@list.usbreastfeeding.org. You don't have to be within the site to post. You can use whatever email service you're subscribed to actually ask your question. The third forum is the news and action items, and the purpose again is to share relevant news items and action opportunities about breastfeeding and coalitions. So again, we do go through that weekly triage process to see what news can actually go into this forum. So we do, if you want to stay up on any coalition news and action items, you can certainly subscribe to that forum as well. We have a few file libraries within the Coalition's Learning Connection. This is really where we archive all of our past webinar recordings along with any materials and files from past presenters at the Coalition's conference. So again, this is really the place to go for resources for coalitions, to access any of the past webinars, or if you're just looking to network with other coalitions from around the country. So with that, many thanks for having me here today, and for your attention and interest, being a part of the alignment of the voice of breastfeeding advocacy from the grassroots to the treetops. And it's truly amazing what we can accomplish together to impact the landscape of breastfeeding support. My contact information is here, so if you have any questions about creating an individual profile or requesting a group profile, please don't hesitate to contact me. And with that, I am ready to take any questions about the website. So I don't have any questions so far. I'll give everyone just a few minutes to type anything if there are any questions. And while we're waiting on that, I can actually move on to Kenny.
Well, hello everyone, and thank you, Tina, Marquette, and to the Indiana Breastfeeding Coalition for inviting Danae and me. It's such an honor to be part of this sharing and learning session with you all. I've said this to Tina many times before, and I really want to take this opportunity to tell you as well that Indiana is a model for other states to learn from. The kind of network of county level and community coalitions that you have that's been built is just remarkable. And I think what we all learn from Indiana is just how engaged and how well you utilize your member experience and expertise and passion to do the work that's so critically needed for our moms and babies. So Tina's the one that's always showing us how coalition work can be fun. People are giving their time after a full day's job to come in and do this work, and how can we make sure that we value and respect and make sure that that the volunteer time that you're doing is really spent in a valuable and productive way. So we've learned so much from you all, and I know that other states have learned from the example of Indiana as well. We've also been very lucky to have one of your state folks, Chris Lundberg, as the regional rep for the Midwest region for a full term, and Chris was phenomenal. The kind of sharing that she started doing during the regional calls after the 222 webinars just helped many other regions to adopt the same kind of process for state sharing. So as Danae explained, I'm here to give you a few quick updates about USBC. This has been what Danae explained about our virtual website has been a very intentional process by USBC to increase our connection with you all at the state and local level. We realized that we were a DC-based firm. It's the national organization of national organizations, and we have 2 meetings a year in DC for our members, and that while we have our members coming to DC and getting together in person 2 times every year, we did not have the structure, or our members did not have a structure to give the same kind of membership benefits to our coalitions. While our members met 2 times a year, the coalitions have their conference once in every 2 years. And so as part of the Equity and Inclusion Committee, we've been working really hard to make sure that this trend, this connection that USBC has with our state partners and local partners and county partners gets stronger, and that we even the playing field. So I'm really, there are many coalition supports that have happened over the year, the new series, but watch out for a brief video that we'll float sometime before the year is out, and that'll give you the top 5 or 10 things that USBC has done for breastfeeding coalitions to foster, greater coordination between your work and our work. In my work with national organizations now, on a regular basis, as I'm working with organizations like Moms Rising, or with, Public Citizen on Ban the Bags in Hospital, or with Moms Rising on paid leave, or some other issues, I get calls saying, hey, we need to do some work in these states. Can you connect us with so-and-so states, or we are working on hospital practices. Can you do this? So we find that the national organizations are hungry really eager to work with you all at the city level, county level, state level to make that impact stronger. And we feel like this platform, once you create your profile, so once you tell the world what work you are doing, helps these national partners find you, helps you find other folks. So we really hope that you will join the coalition's community and do that. And we are garnering up for our the conference, as Denny mentioned, that's coming up next August, and we'll be sending out the call for proposals. The theme is going to be community engagement, how coalitions can work together with communities to improve the landscape for breastfeeding support. So the conference planning committee is meeting this Thursday to finalize our theme, and then we'll be sending out the call for proposals. I know you all do great work, so I hope you submit proposals, and I hope that we can showcase Indiana's work at the August meeting. We do have at this point in time definite guaranteed funding. I know it's not enough. It's subsidizing two representatives from each state, but we will be looking at other ways in which to make this conference accessible to you all. We are thinking of doing, streaming some of our sessions so that folks who can't trudge all the way to DC will be able to participate in this too. And I think one of the biggest pieces of news that I wanted to give you is that um, and Chris and Tina and some of you who've been with the coalition longer and have known USPC longer have known that we had to set up the system of regional reps, as they call it, because at one time our national membership, we had about 40 or 50 national organizations, and we had floated the idea of state coalitions becoming members, and there was like, oh my gosh, we're a national organization and it should only be national organizations. And now we've seen a real turn in the tide where folks feel that state and local coalition should have an equal seat at the table. So USBC has made some bylaw changes, and we are working to get state and local coalitions be full members of USBC. And this bylaw change will be voted on by the USBC board early in January and will go to the full membership meeting in January, and we expect that it'll pass because there's a lot of support from our member organizations to have. And if that happens in January, then the regional rep structure that we have right now will go away, and you all will become direct members of USBC. And what that will change is that we'll be working to see if we can, move the meetings around to other locations rather than DC, so more of you can attend our membership meetings. We will look to see if we can move our conference around, like we right now have our members meeting 2 times a year, whereas the coalition's meeting once every 2 years. We'll try to see if we can space that out and make it everybody meets, members and coalitions meet every year. And maybe we will meet in DC sometimes, maybe we'll meet in Indiana, and maybe we'll meet in California, so that we are coming to where our coalitions are, to the different regions. And we get to learn from you all, and you get to be, in person in our meetings. So very exciting. And the membership will mean that, as our national members can run for board position or leadership positions, so will any coalition member that's part of the USBC setup. So all this will be exciting, and your regional reps will be telling you more about it. And as our bylaw changes move through and, go for a vote, we'll let you know how things are going. But we are so excited because I think that our vision of a bigger, more effective tent can only happen when you're part of we are part of your family and you're part of ours. So we think we are looking forward to a, really different 2016, working with state coalitions in a much closer way possible. And I'd love to invite you all to come and present at one of our 222s. So I have two asks for you today. One is, please, if you can send Tina or Market or even send an email to Danae and I with some suggestions about what you'd like to see in the 2016 Coalitions Conference. We know that not all of you will be able to make it to DC, but we'll be taping the sessions. We'll be streaming. We might be streaming some of those as well. So we will have full day pre-conference sessions. There's always subsidized attendee registrations for WIC and for coalition folks. We'll be working with our federal partner CDC to make sure that we can, that there is an opportunity for more and more of you to attend this National Breastfeeding Coalitions Conference. So let us know, what topics you'd like to see in the all-day pre-conference session. Let us know what topics you'd like to see during the workshop sessions also, and what you'd like to have us present at these 4 different webinar series. So send us your ideas, and I would love to see an Indiana presentation on our 222 before in the first half of 2016. So I hope some of you folks doing good work out there that we will get to hear from you. And Tina, I'm open for any questions we have. I wanted to give these 2 pieces about the new changes coming to USBC membership and also our conference.
Okay, well, thank you, King Kenny, and thank you for your kind words about the work that we're doing in Indiana. I think if we had a slogan in Indiana, it would be that we're working hard to change the culture of breastfeeding, one community at a time, and I feel like a conduit, like where I really respect and admire the local community coalitions so much, but I have equal respect and admiration for the work that USBC does, and I think that USBC is nothing without the coalitions that they minister to, and I think that the local coalitions really are nothing unless they use this tremendous resource that USBC has provided us. So it's just like a wonderful symbiotic relationship, and I want that to grow more, particularly with coalitions in our state. I do have one question that I think might be confusing. There could be people out there listening to this call that don't know what 222 is. And so could you give a little bit more clarity on what that is?
Sure, absolutely, and I should have clarified that. So one of the offerings that USBC and CDC does for our network of state and local and tribal coalitions is that on the even-numbered months from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern, we offer a webinar series. So it's on the second Tuesday of alternate months from 2 to 3, so it's lovingly called the 222. And this series is all about breastfeeding projects and interventions. So we alternate the sessions so that one time we have a national organization coming and speaking to us about what they are doing with breastfeeding projects. We'll have our partners like ASTO or AMCHIP or APHA, National March of Dimes coming and talking to us. And then one time we have national partners and one time we have a state or local coalition talking about one of their projects. We've had folks doing childcare projects or advocacy projects, legislation or hospital stuff. So that's the series that we have. Again, these webinars are free. So as Danae said, when you go to hover on that coalition tab on our website, click on any of these webinar series and just register, because once you register, you don't have to keep registering every month. You register and you're registered for the entire series. You automatically get an announcement 2 weeks before saying, hey, in December, this is the topic and this is the time. And then once the webinar is over, you can get the archives and the access to the recordings and the slides and all of that. So that is a great way for us to highlight the good work that's happening across the country. So we'd love to share, I think, some of the work that you all do with the childcare facilities would be really great to highlight at some point in time. We haven't had, I don't think in 2015 we've had anyone talking about childcare.
Okay. Well, I highly recommend that people attend the USBC conference. I think in the work that I do in communities and with coalitions, this is actually the most beneficial conference that you can attend in terms of learning skills and things that you need to run vibrant coalitions. So I know some of our coalitions in Indiana have bank accounts, and they might consider sending a representative from their coalition. So that's a thought. The other resource that I think is incredibly helpful, and I look forward to every Wednesday when it comes in my email, is the USBC Wednesday Wire. And I just want to thank you and the USBC for this wonderful informative update that I get every Wednesday, and I hope that everyone that's listening to this call is getting the USBC Wednesday Wire. And do you, Kenny or Danae, have anything you want to say about the Wednesday Wire?
I'll add a little bit, and then I'll let Danae, who is our, guru, talk about that. But we have a lot of fun. Lynette Enigbo is our communications coordinator, just outstanding. And a lot of our staff, and she mostly collects over the week all the good stuff that has come our way. And Megan and some of Danae and Sarah, and we get together, and these ladies, triage. So while we only pick 5 or 6 things that go into the wire, we have like a lot of really, really good things that populate some of these learning communities out there. So I tell coalitions, like, steal shamelessly. If you're creating a newsletter or you're doing something, just go look at like the top, because we curate it. We just, Lynette does this job of completely scanning what's in the news breastfeeding wise, in terms of research, in terms of like advocacy, in terms of news, in terms of other things. So this is a curated list that comes their way, and Danae posts some things on the coalition's Learning Connection, but it's also a way for you to go in and read the Wednesday Wire and the top 5, 6 picks, but go in and see all the other good news that's also there, and feel free to use it for your own, if you have an e-newsletter, if you have anything else where you want to share some happenings and news, copy paste and use it. Danae, did you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, just very quickly. Also, if you have a story that you'd like to submit to the Weekly Wednesday Wire, you can always go to News and Info, Weekly Wednesday Wire, and click the submission form as well.
Yeah, so often we will say we will share partner news. We also sometimes we have other social media forums, so our Facebook or our Twitter is a great way for us to highlight something. So Indiana's having a summit, and we'll put it on the USBC Facebook because we have so many followers. If you have, you get a recognition or you have an event, we'd be happy to do the promotion for you and pass that, really shine a light on local as well as state coalitions. So please, please use us that way.
Okay. Well, I could see from Danae's demonstration that the Indiana State Breastfeeding Coalition has some work to do on the USBC website, and I hope many of our local coalitions will be a presence there as well. I get many calls, like daily, weekly, monthly, from people, emails and calls asking questions, and I'm trying to get into the habit of saying that information is nicely organized on the USBC website. There's so much there at our fingertips, and if you get in the habit of going directly there, it's a wonderful resource. So with that said, I would like to thank our speakers today. I just have such admiration for the work you do. I want to say that, and thank you for your kind words about the work that we're doing in Indiana. And, truly, our work reflects our belief that building partnerships is the key to a coordinated effort in building breastfeeding friendly environments, and I think the hallmark of that is communication. And so we are always looking for ways to communicate with our communities. And with that said, I want you to stay tuned for what we have planned in our 2016 Coalition webinar series. Our next call will be January 19th, so it's not 222, it's that third Tuesday of the month at 2 o'clock. Eastern Standard Time, and the focus will be a clinical call. If you visit the indianaperinatal.org little link that you see here, breastfeeding webinars, as we confirm speakers, you'll see that the entire year will be listed there, and you'll be able to register, and we'll be adding the speakers as they're confirmed. Also, to a reminder of the US breastfeeding.org website. Check it out. And as always, thank you for the important work that you do, and I want to wish everyone happy holidays, and we'll see you in 2016. Goodbye, everyone.